Right now at 6, authorities charge a Newton County deputy with domestic assault.
And we have an alert day today and tomorrow. Heat index values easily up to 115 degrees. We'll take a look at that forecast, get you out the door. Coming up.
Plus, Bourbon County, Kansas lands a financial grant to address the issue of food insecurity.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Tuesday here in the 4 states. It is July the 30th. One more day left in this month, and then August kicks off.
And it feels like August is kicking off already.
Like we've mentioned it before, but you know, July really was one of the cooler months we've had. One of the cooler Julys we've had in a long time across the area. Not saying it wasn't hot, but we had a number of below normal days. That, of course, has come to an end. That came to an end yesterday, really, and it is going to continue to be that way, and we've got dangerous heat in place across the area. This is one thing, though. Take a look at this shot from our camera on the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. Doesn't it look lovely out there? Got just a few clouds, nice sunrise. Unfortunately, it does not feel so lovely out there. Another view from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. Now, the Skywatch Storm Tracker, and I think I'll bring this in next time, we've got a little thunderstorm in our far northern counties. It's very small, but it's got, maybe a dozen lightning strikes with it, so it's fairly electrical. If it was a little darker outside, we would probably be able to see it from here. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline, looking pretty good this morning as well. Unfortunately, things are dry. We've got this, excessive heat warnings across nearly the entire area. And in the excessive heat warnings, we're talking heat index values up to 115 degrees. Heat advisories, just because you're not in that warning doesn't mean you're any safer. Still 105 to 110 degree heat indexes out there. Future Track is still showing that opportunity again for an isolated shower or storm today. Again, most of us, unfortunately, will remain dry, but at least a couple of us might see a little bit of rain like what we saw yesterday. We're at 79 in Joplin, 78 in Pittsburgh right now. And as we look at temperatures around the area, it is uncomfortable. Really, if you can stay inside today, just do it. Upper 70s, low 80s for most of the area, save Cassville. 73. You're lucking out. A little cooler down there, but it's still muggy across the region as well. Even in Cassville, feels like 76. And look at some of these heat index values. Yates Center is up there at 86. We've got low to mid 80s across a good portion of the areas as those feels like temperatures. Well, partly cloudy skies through the day today. And again, as we head into the afternoon, another opportunity for an isolated shower or storm. Highs today, upper 90s, maybe even some lower 100s, especially the further west you go. And then maybe that isolated shower storm. That's the big story, though. Heat index values to 115 degrees across a good portion of the area. We're going to have more about this dangerous heat, how long it lasts, and if there's any other rain chances on the way here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Authorities arrested Deputy School Resource Officer in Newton County for domestic assault. Neosho police responded to the report over the weekend. They arrested this man, Joseph Childers, an SRO for the Diamond School District in Newton County deputy. Childers has been charged with second-degree domestic assault, and he is currently being held in the McDonald County Jail without bond. Police in Independence, Missouri investigate a series of car break-ins from over the weekend. Surveillance footage from several locations shows the suspects entering multiple unlocked vehicles and stealing one that authorities later recovered in Coffeyville. The IPD have asked the public for any additional information or video. They also say car break-ins can almost entirely be eliminated simply by locking a car's door. Well, to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The Healthy Bourbon County Action Team received a grant to address food insecurity in Bourbon County. The $55,000 grant will be given each year over the course of 3 years. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more.
Because no one should be hungry or thirsty.
Lisa Robertson is a community health worker with the Healthy Bourbon County Action Team, who received a $55,000 grant to help with food insecurity in Bourbon County. She says the grant will allow them to do more to help those in need.
I have a backpack that I take around to individuals in the community, like on the hot days. My backpack will be filled with ice cold waters, and it'll be filled with snacks that we can give out to people that are just on the street and are thirsty and they just need that hydration.
The Healthy Bourbon County Action Team helps those in need with finding transportation, shelter, and food. She says they can't help the community without the help of grants like the one they received from the Kansas Food Action Network.
I just see big possibilities because our main goal is just helping individuals and just helping people. And with money makes things possible, because we don't always have access to money and funding to do what we want to do. And so having a grant given to us will be such a benefit to help this community.
The organization has fed 400 people in need since 2022, and the executive director, Rachel Carpenter, says this grant will help them meet the needs of the community, which is crucial considering the rates of poverty in Bourbon County.
The data for our health rankings, and 24% of our children are in poverty. And so that just plays a part into food insecurity. And there's many social determinants of health that surrounds food insecurity, whether it's transportation or access to food or having someone have to choose between paying their medical bills and then paying for food for their table.
Carpenter says anyone can be susceptible to food insecurity.
We're just 1 to 2 paychecks away from being food insecure, really. But we at the Healthy Bourbon County Action Team, we have a population of focus, and that is the disabled and elderly and low-income residents and minority residents.
The Healthy Bourbon County Action Team is in the process of hosting meetings to figure out how to best use the grant to make a difference in the community. Reporting in Fort Scott, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
The organization will put on a food summit within the next year where residents of Bourbon County can voice their needs. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the Biden administration announced a new lethal aid package for Ukraine totaling slightly over $1 billion. Plus, the U.S. Secret Service acting director will face questions over the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning. Traffic stops dropped in the year 2020, and in many places that trend still holds. That's according to an upshot analysis of local law enforcement data. The review found that police in Baltimore, New Orleans, and San Francisco were making fewer than half the traffic stops in 2023 than they were pre-pandemic. In Los Angeles, police went from making about 500,000 stops a year to fewer than 220,000 in 2023. That trend was also seen with some state law enforcement agencies and even among some police departments that don't publicly track traffic stops. There was a drop in citations issued, like in Seattle and New York. Well, most of renters feel like home ownership is not in the cards for them. According to a new poll, 86% of current renters say they would like to buy a home but can't afford one. Among those, 54% think they will never be able to afford a home. The housing market is facing an affordability crisis because of surging home prices and high mortgage rates. When it comes to age, younger Americans are more hopeful the situation will change. The poll found 53% of adults younger than 45 who want to buy a home believe it's likely that will happen eventually. That's compared to just 32% of people older than 45. The Biden administration announced a new lethal aid package for Ukraine yesterday, totaling about $1.7 billion. The package largely consists of missiles and ammunition for missile, artillery, and air defense systems the U.S. previously provided to Ukraine. According to the Defense Department, the U.S. is committing $1.5 billion in new weapons and equipment through the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative. Another $200 million worth of equipment is coming directly from the Defense Department stockpiles via the Presidential Drawdown Authority. In a statement, the Defense Department says the U.S. will continue to work with its partners to ensure Ukraine has the capabilities it needs to fight Russia. New U.S. Secret Service Acting Director Ronald Rowe will face tough questions from a Senate committee today over the July 13th assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. According to excerpts of his testimony, he's expected to tell lawmakers that he cannot defend why the roof where the gunman opened fire was not secured. Leah Mishkin has more.
Barely a week into the job, Acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe will take the hot seat on Capitol Hill. According to excerpts obtained by CBS News, Rowe will say he visited the site of the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump and that, quote, "what I saw made me ashamed." He's also expected to say that he's directed his agency to, quote, "ensure every event site security plan is thoroughly vetted by multiple experienced supervisors before it's implemented." Today's hearing comes as newly released police text messages show that officers were aware of the gunman, Thomas Crooks, at least 105 minutes before he opened fire. That's more than 30 minutes earlier than previously reported.
There were multiple opportunities for this individual to be encountered by law enforcement.
At 4:27 p.m., one counter sniper texted his colleagues that the shooter knows you guys are up there, referring to the building he just left. At 5:38 p.m., in a different group chat, an officer sent a picture of Crooks and says, "I did see him with a rangefinder looking towards the stage." That officer spoke to ABC News yesterday.
I assumed that there would be somebody coming out to speak with this individual.
But 33 minutes later, the shooter still had a clear line of sight of the stage when he shot at Trump. The local SWAT team says they never spoke to Secret Service until after the assassination attempt.
There should have been communication with the local police, which there wasn't, so that's a bad thing.
The FBI says Trump has agreed to sit down for a victim interview to describe what he saw that day. Leah Mishkin, CBS News.
Former President Trump says that FBI interview will take place on Thursday. Meanwhile, a U.S. House panel has launched its own probe into the assassination attempt with subpoena power. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got another day of excessive heat. We have an alert day today for that dangerous heat. Skywatch Storm Tracker, we've got a couple of little thunderstorms up in our far northern counties. Unfortunately, the majority of us are dry and the majority of us expected to remain that way. We'll have another full look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
A 9-year-old Virginia boy is already the CEO of his own company. Joy Foltz introduces us to Kai Walker and his gourmet popcorn business that was created because of his love for Legos.
Feel free to try one free sample.
When 5th grader Kai Walker isn't spending his time learning in class or locking in Legos at home.
Yes, this is my business.
The movie lover is busy building a gourmet popcorn empire at just
9 years old.
Kai is the founder and owner of Kai Bears Popcorn.
The name was from something my grandma used to call me as a nickname. When they taste our samples, they say like, can I have a bag of this?
Well, this is good. I'm in trouble now.
He started the business in May of 2023 with the help of his parents.
We have flavors like pizza flavored popcorn, cinnamon bun, chocolate drizzle, birthday cake.
Definitely feeling proud of them. It's amazing to see how far we've come.
In just a year, Kai Bears Popcorn and its unique flavors have touched numerous states and been featured at various vendors across the country.
That's one thing we didn't anticipate. We never knew that it would take 1 year.
Art Walker is Kai's father. He says since the start, Kai has been dedicated to doing the work to see his business grow, including pitching himself to big businesses.
I asked him, did he think that they would be interested in tasting the future of popcorn?
A question that landed this kidpreneur a contract with the University of Richmond supplying popcorn for their sporting events.
It's incredible. It feels like wow, really people enjoy the popcorn.
And although Kai started the business to earn money for Legos,
And we had to think, I don't know, how are we going to afford to be buying him every single Lego? And then we had to figure out how can we possibly do that. And then that's when I mentioned to him the best way would be for him to earn it.
Kai wants to use all that he's learning in this process to help other young dreamers start and grow their own business.
My plans were to show other children how to earn money.
The hope and dream is just to get him to a place where he's able to help more children.
The popcorn looks delicious. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we have an alert day today. We have dangerous heat across the area and excessive heat warnings out there. Heat index values easily approaching 115 degrees. We'll have another full look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 6:22 now on this Tuesday morning. We're starting the Skywatch Storm Tracker, and this is what we're talking about. We have just a couple of little showers in our far northern counties out here. We had quite a bit of lightning with this storm, at least briefly, but as you can see, that has gone away. It's just to the west of Ozark, northwest of Viola here, and we've got this little shower near Garnett, but that's unfortunately about it. However, it goes to show what the pop-up storm situation looks like, because as you can see, there's nothing, and then we get these little flare-ups, and then they start to kind of fizzle back out, and that's going to be the case for us today again. We'll have that chance of an isolated shower or storm as we head into the afternoon and early evening hours thanks to the daytime heating. Unfortunately, again, most of us will remain dry. It's going to be breezy. Well, those south-southwest winds still gusting upwards of about 25 miles an hour. As we head into Wednesday, yeah, you called it if you were guessing pop-up showers, because there they are, another opportunity for that. Unfortunately, the only thing that we're guaranteed at this point is the dangerous heat. I mean, look at by 5 o'clock, look at some of these temperatures out here into the lower 100s on our Wednesday. By Wednesday evening, though, could see a couple of additional stray showers in our far northern counties. Not that anybody would complain at this point. We go into our Thursday, and once again, maybe an isolated shower or storm, but otherwise the dangerous heat continues on across the area. And we have alert days today and tomorrow, and this is part of that reason. Look at this. We have excessive heat warnings across most of the area. If you're in the warning area, you could see heat index values up to 115 degrees. Now, for those of you that are in the advisory, that doesn't mean it's any safer just because it's not an excessive heat warning. You could still see heat index values 105 to 110 degrees out there. So we're talking dangerous, potentially deadly heat across the region. And don't forget, we have a number of extreme heat safety tips on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com, including a graphic that will help you kind of discern the difference between the symptoms and appearances of heat exhaustion versus heat stroke. Heat stroke is much more serious than heat exhaustion, but we're in that zone where heat exhaustion is likely. Heat stroke is definitely possible out there. Let's look outside. So there's some clouds, and off to the distance, of course, is where those few stray showers are in southeast Kansas. 79 in Joplin. Feels like 82. That dew point at 71. South breeze at 11. Around the area, temperatures uncomfortable already. Upper 70s and still close to 80 degrees for some of us out there. And then you factor in this, and these are the dew points. Look at some of these readings. We have dew points in the mid and upper 70s across the area. So we're talking going from that muggy, soupy, and beyond range when it comes to how uncomfortable and unpleasant the area is out there. And that's putting heat index values, even this early in the morning, into the low to mid 80s for some of us across the region. So a very muggy, unpleasant start for us. I can't really say it any other way. I know it stinks, and I know it sounds awful. It unfortunately truly is, and you've got to take this heat seriously out there. All right, partly cloudy skies through the morning. Again, maybe an isolated shower or two. Will be upper 80s by 11. We'll continue that chance for maybe a pop-up shower or storm into the afternoon. Highs today, upper 90s, some lower 100s, absolutely possible, especially the further west you go. Heading into the evening, skies will eventually begin to clear out a bit. Will be mostly clear overnight. Warm, muggy, uncomfortable. Lows right around 80. Some of you will be a little below, some of you a little above, but as you can tell, not any significant relief from the heat. Highs near 100 tomorrow, which means we could see a lot more lower 100s across the area. Near 100 again on Thursday. There's those pop-up shower and storm chances through at least Friday. A little better Saturday, 95, and then as we head into the next work week, things heat right back up into the upper 90s under sunny skies. Our best chance to cool down is going to be next Thursday with maybe some scattered thunderstorm chances, temperatures in the low 90s. That's a check of your forecast. Now here's Elise with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. The diabetic and weight loss medication semaglutide, such as Ozempic and Wegovy, may show promise to help people quit smoking. A study in the Annals of Internal Medicine shows semaglutide in smokers with type 2 diabetes was associated with a lower risk for smoking-related healthcare utilization, including prescriptions for smoking cessation drugs and counseling. Researchers say clinical trials are needed before any expanded use of the drug is advocated. A study in JAMA Pediatrics suggests maternal obesity should be added to the list of known risk factors for sudden unexpected infant death. Researchers looking at data from the National Centers for Health Statistics found infants born to mothers with obesity had a higher risk of sudden unexpected infant death than those born to mothers with a normal body mass index. The risk increased with the severity of obesity. And losing someone you love may age you faster. A study from Columbia University found people who lost a parent, partner, sibling, or child showed signs of older biological age compared to those who had not experienced that kind of loss. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, a mobile memorial to fallen officers makes its way to the city of Joplin.
And we have an alert day today and tomorrow for heat index values up to 115 degrees. We'll have a look at forecasts, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, election officials in Oklahoma look to draw new workers with better pay ahead of the November elections.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday here in the 4 states, and we're getting closer to August, but it's already feeling like the dog days of summer out there.
Yes, it is. I like the heat, don't get me wrong, but the mugginess with the heat.
I can deal with the warmer weather,
Yeah.
but this is getting to be a little absurd.
Yep.
It's honestly getting to be dangerous, potentially deadly heat for some out
certainly.
there with some of these heat index values we could see. Let's start first with just a quick look outside from our camera on the Cornell Complex, downtown Job. We've got a few clouds out there because we got a few isolated showers in southeast Kansas. We've had a couple of storms try and develop out there, but they really haven't come to fruition much, or they were very short-lived. And there's just another view of those clouds off to the northwest from our camera at 7th and Range Line. MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line. Also looking pretty good as we get the day underway. This is not. These are excessive heat warnings for nearly every county in our area. And so what that means is in the warnings, you could see heat index values up to 115 degrees. For those of you in the advisory, don't think you're any better off, unfortunately. You could still have heat index values in these areas 105 to 110. That is still dangerous heat, and especially across these excessive heat warning zones, it's potentially deadly heat out there. Future Track does show us again the opportunity for a pop-up shower or storm as we head into the afternoon and into the evening hours. The majority of us, though, again, unfortunately, will just be dry, hot, and muggy. And it's already relatively uncomfortable out there. We're sitting at 79 in Joplin, 78 in Pittsburgh right now. And across the area, those temperatures upper 70s. Some of us still pushing close to 80 degrees as we get the day underway. And then you factor in the dew point, the humidity, and you get these uncomfortable heat index values already this morning as we're into the low to mid 80s across the area. We had some upper 80s earlier this morning, so it's already felt very just blah outside, and it's going to be another one just like that. Partly cloudy skies through the day, isolated showers, storm possible. Our highs today upper 90s, some lower 100s absolutely possible, especially the further west you go. And again, the big story of the day, The heat index is up to 115 degrees for a number of us across the area. We do have a number of heat safety tips on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com, so make sure you check those out and make sure you're staying safe. We'll have another look forecast, talk about this dangerous heat, and if there's any other rain chances out there here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon. Election officials in Oklahoma can expect to see a higher pay ahead of the November general election. A bill passed in 2023 goes into effect this year, doubling the pay for officials receive in a workday. Oklahoma state law requires each precinct to have at least 3 officials, an inspector, judge, and a clerk. State election board officials say they hope the pay increase not only shows poll workers how important they are, but will continue to support recruitment and retention efforts.
I've had several of my poll workers say that the increase in pay is definitely keeping them around. But I've had more people volunteer to be a poll worker. So I do think it'll help with recruiting.
No experience is required to be a precinct official, but you must work in the county you are registered to vote in. Training is mandatory and will be provided. Beyond the Call of Duty is a traveling memorial that pays tribute to fallen officers across the country. It made a stop yesterday at the Joplin Police Department and features images of Officer Jake Reed and Corporal Ben Cooper. The memorial also features Carthage High School graduate Officer Lane Burns, who died in the line of duty in 2022 as a Bonne Terre, Missouri police officer.
When there is a loss, initially there's a huge outpouring of support. And over a little bit of time, some of that kind of dwindles away. And all the while, the families, friends and families, their lives changed forever that day.
Carter says they created the traveling memorial so that people all over the country hear fallen officer stories, see their faces, and support their families. The entire annual trip is 23,000 miles. Even though the official start of Marian Days isn't until Thursday, it's already starting to look like a small city is growing inside of Carthage, Missouri. Every year, the annual Catholic Vietnamese celebration brings in tens of thousands of visitors to the Maple Leaf City. The Carthage Chamber president says guests bring a big boost to the local economy.
They're getting a lot of their staples, obviously food and extension cords, things like that. So I really think that our businesses do a very good job at putting those things that what they're always buying up close.
Thousands of the visitors choose to camp and even more stay in local hotels and Airbnbs. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A federal appeals court has blocked a rule requiring airlines to disclose their fees up front. And we have another hot and partly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, millions of visitors have descended on Paris for the Summer Olympics. Hotel occupancy, however, is down compared to the last couple pre-COVID summer games. Wendy Gillette has more from Paris on the hotel landscape and some of the chicest places to stay in the City of Lights.
Location, location, location is the buzzword at Shangri-La Paris. Management says high-profile clients snatched up the hotel's 100 rooms and suites months ago, many with balconies or terraces facing the Seine River and Eiffel Tower.
You're just next to the most visited monument in the world with the Eiffel Tower just right here.
The Shangri-La has plenty of historical nods as the former mansion of Napoleon's nephew. More modern touches include the spa where the stables used to be and a Michelin-starred Chinese restaurant. Olympics days feature a private limo to and from the airport to minimize transportation delays and allow guests to focus on the big event.
The last time we had it was 100 years ago.
The peninsula is also busy with Olympic collaborations. The hotel is often called Little Versailles, in a building that opened in 1908.
The hotel deploys a Rolls-Royce fleet to ferry guests, including former Olympians taking part in special events. They're staying in rooms decorated with fresh flowers and can adjust everything from the temperature to the curtains with a central control pad. There are views of the Arc de Triomphe and spacious bathrooms, and downstairs one of the biggest hotel swimming pools in the city, a 2 Michelin star restaurant with views, and a famous Paris bar.
We have been almost fully committed for the Olympic Games more than a year prior to the Games.
That's not the case at every hotel. Travel data company CoStar says occupancy rates during the Games stand at about 80%. That's down from Rio in 2016 at 94% and London in 2012 at 90%. The celebrity-favored Rosewood Hotel de Crillon, one of those we stayed at for a special rate, is just about sold out. It overlooks Plaza de la Concorde, the largest public square in the city, with Scent Spa, artful fresh pastries, and 6 different venues for dining and drinking, attracting Olympic ticket holders.
I think it's going to be very beneficial for Paris. It's going to show Paris under its best angle.
In a city with few bad angles. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, Paris.
Well, a blow to the Biden administration's mission to combat junk fees. A federal appeals court has temporarily blocked a new Department of Transportation rule requiring airlines to disclose their fees upfront, along with airfare, pending a review. The judges sided with the airline industry in the ruling, saying that the regulations may exceed the DOT's authority. The department has said the rules stop consumers from getting hit with surprise fees. We'll check your spice cabinets. New York-based American Spices LLC is recalling Spice Class brand ground cinnamon because it may contain elevated levels of lead. The recalled product was distributed between last December and May in the New York area. So far, no illnesses have been reported. Consumers are urged to throw out the recalled cinnamon or return it for a full refund. And fewer people appear to be loving McDonald's. The fast food chain reported its first sales slump since 2020 in the second quarter. Experts say budget-conscious Americans are straying away from higher prices at fast food chains. Instead, they're eating more at home. And this summer, McDonald's released a $5 meal promotion to drive more foot traffic, though competitors have also launched similar deals. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have to contend with dangerous heat across the area, and we do have an alert day today and tomorrow, and this is part of that reason here. We have excessive heat warnings across most of the region, which means within these zones, you could see heat index values easily approaching 115 degrees. We're talking dangerous, again, potentially deadly heat. And in the heat advisories, don't think it's that much better out there. You could still see heat index values 105 to 110 degrees, and this heat wave is not going to let go of us anytime soon. We were really graced with good temperatures for most of July. In fact, we had a relatively cool July compared to what we are used to around here, but that has come to a close. Future tracking this afternoon and evening, again, an isolated pop-up shower or thunderstorm will be possible out there. The majority of us will simply be dry, hot, and muggy. We'll also have south-southwest winds gusting upwards of about 25 miles an hour. Let's take a quick look at temperatures. 79 in Joplin, 78 in Pittsburgh, and around the area, boy, again, uncomfortable to say the least. Upper 70s, except for Cassville, doing better at 71. Upper 70s, right around 80 degrees as just the temperatures, and you factor in the dew point humidity. We have heat index values for most of us, low to mid 80s, and even in Cassville, where it's 71, you have a 7-degree heat index. Feels like 78 out there, so very muggy across the region. We're having another full look at your forecast, break down this dangerous heat, how long it lasts, and any other rain chances we might have here in just a moment. We also are going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries right after this break, but first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Michelle Miller. Coming up on CBS Mornings, you may know her for her role as Jess Day on the hit TV show New Girl. Award-winning actress and musician Zooey Deschanel will join us to talk about her new role in the movie adaptation of the children's book Harold and the Purple Crayon. That and a whole lot more on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Tuesday birthdays in the 4 states. We're starting with Miles' son, celebrating birthday number 8. It says happy birthday from his grandmas and grandpas and all the family.
And in Galena, happy 10th birthday to Carson Ballard. It says happy birthday from Mom and Dad.
And we've got Jace Hummel celebrating birthday number 12. Says he'll be a 7th grader at St. Paul Junior High. Enjoy your day. Love the entire family.
And a happy birthday to James Buchanan over in Jasper, celebrating birthday number 43.
And down south in Carthage, Scott Honschel celebrating birthday number 64. Happy birthday.
And a happy birthday to Mary Jane Parmalee over in Columbus.
And Michael and Michelle Kipp celebrating their 30th year of wedded bliss. A very happy anniversary to the Kipps.
And over in Fort Scott, a happy 46th anniversary to Paul and Cheryl Ballou.
And then our very own Jim Markwart celebrating another year wiser. Jim's one of our senior marketing consultants, so if you have any advertising you need to do, make sure you reach out to Jim. And he's one of the many folks who help get our bills paid so that we can keep the lights on and still be here to do this. So Jim, thank you for all that you do, and a very happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And continuing our birthday list with Barbara Beard turning 70 over in Columbus. Happy birthday.
All right, another great list of birthdays and anniversaries in the 4 states. And of course, if you would like to celebrate with us, Elise has the information you need.
Yes, go ahead and submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include any photos or messages when you submit, and to also meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen.
All right, let's start with the Skywatch Storm Tracker. So we have this dying shower now that we've got into southeastern Kansas, a couple of spotty showers here and there, and a little thunderstorm south of Emporia. This guy was a little bit more than this, but now it's just some light rain out there. We got a light shower northwest of Burlington, and we'll drag this back up over here. Got a light shower north of Garnett, and that's really about it out there. But this guy, again, he flared up pretty good, had a fair amount of lightning, and then as quickly as it developed, it died right back out. That's the nature, though, of pop-up showers and storms. But that's also a sign as to how much humidity, how much moisture we have in the air, and the available energy, because it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay, it's almost 7, but we've got enough that we're able to trigger pop-up storms this early in the day. Future Track still showing that possibility of an isolated shower or storm out there as we head through the afternoon and into the evening. The majority of us, once again, will be dry, hot, and muggy. And look at some of these temperatures out there, just absolutely miserable. We go into our Wednesday, another similar situation. We'll have an opportunity for a stray shower or thunderstorm. And again, the majority of us will be dry, but we could see a couple of isolated showers overnight as well, just because, boy, look at this. It's 10 o'clock, and we've got temperatures upper 80s, right around 90 degrees. So that's why we're able to still kind of favor some of these pop-up storms. They rely on the heating of the day, and when it's still 90 degrees at 10 o'clock at night, they've got some instability. They've got some energy to work with there. Our Thursday also looking very hot, very uncomfortable, very muggy, and then again, also maybe a stray shower or storm. The big story, of course, is this: the excessive heat warnings for nearly every county in our viewing area now. And in these warnings, you could see heat index values easily approaching 115 degrees. The heat advisory, still dangerous heat as well, 105 to 110 degree heat index values. So you've got to make sure you're playing it safe and keeping an eye on things out there. Again, some quick reminders on these safety tips. Early morning walks for your pets. Make sure they're indoors otherwise. It is too hot for them out there. They don't realize it sometimes. We do. You got to keep them in. Same with the kids. Honestly, with heat index values to 115, you got to keep the kids inside as much as possible. I know it's tough for them. They don't like to be cooped up inside. They don't quite get it. They're like, oh, it's okay. It's not. And you got to make sure they're staying safe. Keep them hydrated as well. Water and Pedialyte pops. If you do have to work outside, I'm sure any of the companies that we have in our area that have outdoor workers are hopefully taking the appropriate precautions for those workers. But yourself, make sure you're finding shade, drinking plenty of water, take frequent breaks, and of course, check on the elderly. Make sure they're doing all right. Make sure their AC is working all right, because over the next few days, those air conditioners are going to get a workout. We're at that range, though, where heat exhaustion is likely, heat stroke is possible. And we do have some safety information on our website and some of the key signs to look for, the differences between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Heat stroke is much more serious, could potentially be deadly. So make sure you check that out, KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's some of those clouds from those showers that have been trying to go up to our north here in Joplin. 79. Feels like 82, that dew point at 71. Temperatures across the region this morning, again, uncomfortable. Upper 70s to right around 80 degrees. Again, save Cassville. But even though it's a little cooler in Cassville, you're still dealing with these high dew points, and you're still dealing with a heat index that's well above where it should be. The majority of our dew points this morning, low mid 70s. We even have some upper 70 degree dew points, which goes muggy, soupy, and beyond out there. And that's putting those heat index values for a good portion of us already this morning into the low to mid 80s. So already uncomfortable to be outside. We got our day underway, partly cloudy skies. Again, maybe a stray shower or storm, majority of us dry. We're going to go upper 80s by 11 o'clock this morning. We're having another look at your forecast, including the extended forecast, as well as the news you need to know here in just a moment. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to hear how one group is working to pay it forward by planting seeds for a healthier future.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities arrested Deputy School Resource Officer Joseph Childers in Newton County for domestic assault. Childers has been charged with a second-degree domestic assault and is currently being held in the McDonald County Jail without bond. Beyond the Call of Duty made a stop at the Joplin Police Department yesterday to feature images of Officer Jake Reed and Corporal Ben Cooper. The memorial also featured Carthage High School graduate officer Lane Burns, who died in the line of duty in 2022 as a Bonne Terre, Missouri police officer. The traveling memorial was created so that people all over the country can hear fallen officer stories, see their faces, and support their families. The Healthy Bourbon County Action Team received a grant of $55,000 to help tackle food insecurity in Bourbon County. The grant will be given each year for 3 years and will help the organization give out food to the community. 400 people have been served since 2022. The organization depends heavily on grants to feed those in need. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, already hot and muggy this morning. Highs upper 90s, lower 100s. Partly cloudy skies, isolated pop-up storm or two. We have the excessive heat warnings in place as well for most of us, which means heat index values across the region could easily reach 115 degrees. So make sure if you don't have to be outside, just don't. We'll start to see skies clear out a bit overnight. We'll go mostly clear, warm and muggy still. Lows right around 80 degrees. And this dangerous heat holds on for a while. Alert day in place tomorrow as well. As we go into the 100-degree range, a few more lower 100s, near 100 on Thursday. Isolated storm chances through Friday. We'll stay hot through the weekend and into next week as well. Maybe a few scattered storms next Thursday and maybe a wee bit cooler into the low 90s.
Some good excuses to stay inside.
Absolutely. Sleep in late and just don't worry about it.
Absolutely. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making chocolate caramel cookies in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Coming up next, we'll tell you the story of one married couple who share their passion for music to inspire and teach the next generation of jazz musicians through the power and performance and building community.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, Jasmine Kyle from the SAK Humane Society joins us in the studio to talk about their annual Bad Pet Portraits fundraiser.
And we've got Charlene Patton in the studio with another incredibly healthy recipe. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.